Greetings and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror Live. I am Fuad Danzies, joined by producer Tad,
Readings.
Pugs Dread,
Namaste.
and Mike Kruger.
I don't like your tone, Dan.
I said it in a very respect on the name. It's very fierce. Fierce. I think it works.
Yes,
What are
when
you
I
guys
think
doing?
Michael Kruger, I think fierce.
Well, that sounds like you're talking shit on Kruger.
I was talking shit on you.
No, because your type of fierce is fierce.
Yeah, that's all I hear.
Wrong with being fierce.
Yeah,
Alright.
he sounds like he should be like a fucking housewife of fucking Tucson. Then
Yeah, for real. Motherfucking tonight
I would
we
get
got
ratings.
fuck off, Dan. Tonight we got the fucking Blood Feast franchise show, which is something I have been looking forward to forever. Honestly, I just want to go straight into this. Blood Feast is one of the first movies Todd has ever suggested to me, and it became one of my favorite movies of all time. So I had never seen any of the sequels. I had only seen the remake before the show, so I'm super excited. Fucking Blood Feast is a very underrated horror movie franchise, slasher franchise.
So the remake is the one Todd suggested to you?
No, the original. I put out like a post, I think it was like around 2017, 2018, and it was just like, hey, what's some underrated slasher movies that fucking...
did you say slasher? Or did you say gore? I think gore.
I said slasher.
Okay.
And you threw Blood Feast in the mix, and I was like, it's from the 60s? What the fuck? And it blew my goddamn mind. And it's actually the whole reason why I found out about Tubi too, because Tubi was the one that had it streaming.
Nice.
There you go. Well, I introduced you to two whole new worlds there.
Yeah.
There you go. There you go. So yeah, I'm eager to get into it. So this is a franchise show, as we'll get into some like kind of adjacent sort of stuff here, but I am eager to jump in. So with that being said, we will kick things off with the one that started it all, from the Godfather himself, Herschell, the Godfather of Gore himself, Herschell Gordon Lewis, 1963's Blood Feast. Then in Blood Feast, an Egyptian caterer named Fuad Ramses kills various women in suburban Miami to use their body parts to revive a dormant Egyptian goddess named Ishtar, while an inept police detective tries to track him down. All right, Kruger.
Real quick, wouldn't it be funny though? He was just sacrificing all these bitches to make that terrible, terrible movie. Ishtar.
Okay. I thought you were shit talking Blood Feast. Yeah.
No, the worst movie ever made.
To be fair, I don't think Ishtar is the worst movie ever made.
Okay, the big picture worst movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, Geely's worse. I mean, if we just do that alone.
I didn't mind Geely.
I didn't mind Ishtar.
You like
Geely?
You're the
no,
only
I said I didn't mind Geely, but I like it for a different reason. Let's not talk about Geely on a fucking.
Yeah, let's get the fucking Blood Feast, motherfuckers. All right,
go for it, Kruger.
Dude, this is like a comfort movie for me. I adore Blood Feast and all of its flaws and all of its fucking animal intestine gore throughout it. So the thing that's cool about this movie to me is it's a 60s movie that has a fucking plethora of gratuitous gore in it. And for that time, that was unheard of. And this is considered by many one of the first gore films. But it also is like one of the earliest slasher films that we have too. I think it doesn't get enough credit for being a slasher because, I mean, down to the bone, it is. You have a distinguished killer doing gratuitous, horrible kills to a bunch of, fucking women on a
altar.
On an altar. And it just, I love this movie. The gore for some people isn't going to be to like high standards, but I mean, motherfucker, it's the 60s, and
era. There's different gores throughout the era. Like if you look at
Yeah.
the blood, it evolves.
Yeah, but for this era, it's amazing and revolutionary what this film did, and I adore it. Honestly, this is probably why me and Todd are friends. Is this movie because he suggested it, and I was just like, "All right, motherfucker, what else you got?" And then he gave me Chaos shortly after, and I was like, "All right."
And then I gave you a certain Jason film too. I know we're still on the rocks, but
yeah. So Blood Feast to me is a classic, and it's a must see for any horror fan, and it's a must see for any gore fan too, because these are the roots where everything. These are the movies that fucking built the foundation to be able to have movies like Evil Dead and Saw and all those gross out fucking films that we got later on. So yeah, it's a masterpiece to me. And it is cheesy as fuck. It has a bunch of terrible actors in it, but the aesthetic and just the movie itself, it all works for what it's going for. And the thing I like about it too is it's very unintentionally funny. And that's actually one of my gripes with a later Blood Feast film that we're going to be covering later is this one is very unintentionally hilarious because of how bad the acting is or how silly the situations are. Like at one point you have a girl sitting on her fucking counter going, "Oh, Eastar, why this guy's fucking having this machete," and then her mom walks in, and all of a sudden this guy's fucking limping his way, like trying to get away, and fucking these cops that are in shape and everything just can't get to him, and he's just limping away. They're driving fucking cars chasing after him, and you see this guy, he's just fucking limping, and then next thing you know, he's in a fucking goddamn trash compactor getting killed. Like the absurdity of this movie, the ridiculousness and the cheesiness, just it makes it one of my favorite movies of all time, one of my favorite slashers of all time. So can't give higher praise to Blood Feast. And it was funny because I showed my girlfriend this movie. She had never seen it, and I showed it to her about a couple months ago. And then my local art house theater, I think it was for January. Was it January or November? I can't remember. I think November they were having like Thanksgiving, like food themed horror, and they had Blood Feast as one of the movies, and I finally got to see it on the big screen, and it was fucking awesome. So anybody that hasn't seen this movie, highly suggest it. I don't think you'll be watching this franchise show if you haven't seen any of these, but if you haven't, the original Blood Feast is a must-see for the slasher fan and the gore fan because it's one of the OGs.
Absolutely. So, Pugs, is this a first-time watch for you for Blood Feast? I don't
know.
That insulted me, you ask you.
Yeah, that insulted me too.
No, I don't
It's not
revisit
something
it
that
often.
you'd be surprised. A lot of people haven't seen it.
Still, I'm on the show, Dan. I think I would have.
No,
Anyway, it's fine. I have fond memories of this.
Time out. What if?
I thought you were vibrating.
No. What if? Because this is of the era. What if Adam West played Fuad Ramsey?
Oh, that would have been amazing.
That'd be freaking awesome. Well, he fought an Egyptian person too.
I'm shocked he didn't go with Shatner. I'm just saying now.
Well, he doesn't have the soft spot for Shatner. That would be the most
That'd
awesome
be
movie of all
him.
time.
I again, you're not going to hurt me with Shatner. I like OG Trek. Before I try to be all smart.
You will accept the blood sacrifice.
See, that would be pretty
Dude,
awesome.
it's funny you talk about OG Trek because they were just talking about it on Rogan. Joe Rogan was like breaking down the arena episode where fucking Captain Kirk fights
the Gorn.
Yeah.
Yes, I met the Gorn.
Pretty awesome. But Pugs, back to your Blood Feast story.
Right. So I don't revisit this one that often. It's been quite a long time since I've seen this. Then this was a nice refresher for me. I did not realize how bad the acting was growing up watching it, just because, it's one of those comfort movies you put on and like, oh, I remember this makes me feel good. It still made me feel good, but I was like, fuck, I overlooked a lot of flaws here. But yeah, bad acting to the side, this is a cool fucking story. it's gory as shit for the time. The colors are super bright, so Todd, I know you're in.
Yeah.
I love the red that they use for the blood. It's just very inviting. Yeah, it's a fun story, and like teaches you some fucking Egyptian history stuff. Some of it's exaggerated, some of it's not.
She's a
yeah,
Babylonian goddess, though, so it's a little off.
Listen here, you fuck.
They're making their own lore, which is why I said some of it's accurate, some of it's not.
Hashtag history.
We know. Yeah.
Do you want me to play?
Yeah,
Do you want to go down that
come
road?
on,
I'll give you some history in a second, Dan.
I can catch that train, Dan. No, this is just a good time. Like, if you haven't seen it, by all means, I think it's streaming on Shudder, or it's just most of the time it's streaming on Shudder.
It's on Tubi as well.
And Tubi, where Kruger found the fucking gem of the Nile. Yeah, it's just really cool. I do like sequels or something that inspired by it a little more, because they do get a little more theatrical with the presentation of like they introduce the masks and shit, which is cool. But yeah, I dig it. There's one scene that cracks me up every time, and I don't understand why. But the big field and Homeboy is fucking chasing after her. It's like, you have nothing but room. It's fucking glorious. It's a ball every time I revisit this, and I should revisit it more often. It's enjoyable.
And one thing I wanted to point out, because you didn't, Pugs, this fucking movie's short as shit. You go
It
in and
is
out.
super fucking short. It's like an hour and 7 minutes. Like, yeah. Super respectful of my time.
Dude, like, you can get in and out of this motherfucker so easy, and that's why I love about it, because like I've just thrown, like, I'll go home for lunch at work and I'll just fucking throw this shit on just real quick, fucking get a good pick me up, fucking head back out. Like, I love that because honestly the length, I think, in later sequels kind of hurts the story that they're going for, and this is just like bare bones. Gives you like a good 4 kill sequences with like heavy gore in it, and that in an hour and 7 minutes is very impressive.
True that.
Yeah, so this is just cheesy goodness. Now, even though it is cheesy, this was pretty cutting edge stuff. I mean, this is the sort of thing that people passed out at drive-ins over, and you can see it, tongues being ripped out. Well, 1963, remember, we're in Leave It to Beaver.
They were segregating people then, Dan. They weren't at the same drive-in.
They weren't allowed to drive in.
Now,
Shocking.
certain things, if you're experiencing this for the first time, sure, you're seeing the homicidal maniac kill a girl in granny panties, because that was the time. But that the charm is there. I love the color of the blood. I love the H.G. Lewis blood. I love everything about it. Mal Arnold, who plays our villain / hero, I'm just going to call him a hero, Fuad Ramses, he is absolutely fucking amazing. He's
those eyebrows though.
Yeah, and I mean, what's funny about this too, it's like you're watching it and it's like the mom comes in for this catering job and is like, I'll prepare a feast that you'll never forget. And he had everything. He is the like white van freak candy villain of horror movies, and I just love it. Like, he's the guy where it's like, you know, he might as well have had chainsaws and machetes hanging like right over the shop, and she wouldn't have noticed it. That really adds to the charm. And again, I'm not making fun of this movie. Everything that I'm saying makes it gloriously beautiful. And yeah, it's an hour and 7 minutes. I mean, this is the era of double features. It's the perfect length. And again, you will be surprised if you're going in the first time at the gore. You know, eyes being removed, legs being cut off, the infamous tongue scene, which
we'll get to that later.
Looks beautiful. And yeah, if you want to see actors out of a nudie cutie being horribly massacred,
and who doesn't,
this is the way you go. Yeah, and also in H.G. Lewis, a guy who came from nudie cuties.
Yeah.
There's this perfect like regional Florida flair about these movies and H.G. Lewis in general that you know, the tradition is being carried on by Gator Blade Films. There is something distinctly Floridian about this. And you know, that cow tongue scene was so shocking to audiences of the time. I mean,
One of my favorite kills of all time.
absolute in the way she sold it too. Nobody makes movies like
Well,
H.G.
you're leaving out the
Lewis.
part though, Dan. That it was a cow tongue. Like you didn't introduce that fact.
Yeah,
then
no,
you-
it's a cow tongue and it looks
Well,
perfect. I mean, people thought it was real. Like that's how crazy this was. And again, we're in Leave It to Beaver times, and the just H.G. Lewis. Nobody since has exactly been able to capture his tone.
even
And
himself in later films.
this came
yeah,
a
no
dec-
shit. Jeez.
yeah, this is made a decade before Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You know,
Which has
that
no gore.
yeah, no, absolutely. And it doesn't fully get the credit it deserves. Before Mike Vraney at Something Weird Video kind of resurrected a lot of the H.G. Lewis stuff. You know, this could be an obscure oddity now.
Well, and
Thank God it's not.
the thing that shocks me is it doesn't get a credit for being a slasher either. Like it's an early ass slasher. In the 60s, what other ones did we have? We had fucking Psycho, obviously. Peeping Tom, I think, was what? That's not even, is that 70s?
That's
No,
the
it's
same.
before.
So
60s.
like 69.
Like the
So,
same time as
Like this
Same
is
Psycho.
really one of the first slashers we got in the genre.
I think it's probably because the genre wasn't a genre yet, so it doesn't.
I know,
really get
but
attention.
like if you go by like what it is,
No,
I
no,
mean,
and there's
hands
no
down
argument.
the
I think, but that's
yeah.
probably why most people don't. The slashers weren't a thing. I mean, till the 80s. I mean, no one called Halloween a slasher upon release.
No,
So I think that has more to
what
do
you're
with it than anything. People just are.
But it's cool if you're a fan of those, and then
no,
you look,
absolutely.
and you go back and you're like, what the fuck? Something from the 60s, and then you see somebody ripping somebody's fucking tongue out, and you're like, holy shit, they went hard. Like it's very, very cool little piece of horror history. And I think that's why all of the acting and like as cheesy as it is, like it's just grandfathered in. It's a fucking perfect piece of fucking horror cinema.
Yeah. My favorite line, say, you wouldn't sacrifice me on this altar, would you?
Right, yeah, right.
You can't write lines like that anymore without being lame. It just works.
I didn't even know if they wrote them then.
Todd, the fucking my God for fucking putting me onto this movie. What's your experience? What was the first time you saw this?
I have no idea. I can tell you I rented it from Tower on the Something Weird VHS.
Okay.
So I don't know how old that would have been. That was when Tower was still 89, because I remember Back to the Future 2 was on Laserdisc at that point. So it was right around 89. I bought that and Driving Miss Daisy the same day. I do not have either of those Laserdiscs still. But
Miss Daisy is lucky she wasn't in an H.G. Lewis film.
It was, but I mean, Tower was awesome because they had their own like section that was just like a wall bookshelf with just Something Weird. So it was just those old school, remember the old school red, Something
Borders.
Weird covers.
Well, they didn't have a whole wall, but Borders used to have their Something Weird section too.
But so I remember I rented it. I don't remember if one of the people working there recommended it or I just found, because I'd always go look at it because that used to be like the forbidden section because they were like, oh, you got to be old enough to rent those, even though no one cared. But
better times.
Yeah. Yeah, it was like something from that time to do that was shocking, and it immediately sticks with you. I think that's why, at the right age you see it. It's just one of those. I mean, even when we saw it, I mean, Dan and everyone else. Well, I don't know what year you saw it, Dan, but you were probably you'd already seen. So you'd already seen like that's like what it was going to become. So seeing this is like what it was or what it, basically the start. I mean, it is really cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a wonderful film, and it's historically significant as well. So, all right. Well, Kruger, you can go ahead first and rate it.
It's a 5 stars for me. I mean, I adore this movie. If I have a bad day, I can throw this on and it will make my day better, no matter what time of year it is. And I think more people that are slasher aficionados need to see it because you don't hear it talked about enough.
Let's have an Egyptian feast when we're all together later this year. Maybe there's an Egyptian.
Are we going to take a girl from the massage parlor to? Like,
I'm not suggesting murdering anyone. I'm just saying let's get
just see where the night takes us.
Let's get Egyptian food somewhere. There you go.
After tea.
What the fuck even is it Egyptian food?
Apparently,
it's good. Like, yeah, I had some stuff that was wrapped in like banana.
Am I gonna fucking eat a scorpion, Dan?
That's not, you don't have to eat a scorpion.
I'm eating McDonald's next door. Fuck all that. It's weird. At least I know I'm getting my mealworms from the Mickey D's.
We're gonna show up with fake eyebrows too.
I'm gonna give this a 4 out of 5 with a mandatory viewing. This is a must see.
This movie is extremely entertaining. I think you'll still enjoy it even watching it now if you haven't experienced it yet. It's historically significant. The Godfather of Gore paved the way. I give Blood Feast 5 stars.
I go back and forth on this one. I'm a 4.5. I was close to 5. There's elements about it that, while I love, aren't perfect. So that's the only. I'm like a border. Like it could be a 5, but 4.5 is realistic. I'll be good.
Todd doesn't even give Blood Feast a 5 star.
He's subtracting a half star for the granny panties.
That's fair enough.
Why do you know they didn't kick in a fetish? I'm gonna be like, yeah, those granny panties.
Right.
There you go. There you go.
All right. So next up,
they make good gags, right, Todd?
You know, you pull them and you can make rope out of them. You strip them and make them long.
All right.
You can't do that with the G string. You get like a foot.
All right. Not speaking from experience at all. Our next film, which I will get into because some people might scratch their heads a little bit, but I'll explain. The 1978 film from writer-director Jack Weiss, Mardi Gras Massacre. So in this filth-fueled, disco-drenched, and gore-soaked epic of butchered hookers, hard-boiled homicide cops, and a prissy psycho with an Aztec sacrifice fetish that remains a once-in-a-lifetime sleaze experience. Mardi Gras Massacre. So, Mardi Gras Massacre. Okay, so this one, there's different places that list it as a spiritual sequel. As you can imagine, it's very, very similar.
It's a fucking ripoff. That's what it is.
It's the Aztec goddess Kotal. I'm not sure how to say it, Queen of Evil instead of the Egyptian goddess Ishtar. So that's really all there is to it. There's some places that list it as an unofficial sequel. It is definitely unofficial. It has nothing really to do with the other one. It's not a Patrick Still Lives scenario where they're really shameless and just directly make a sequel that they're not allowed to make, but spiritual. And I talked to Todd about it, and I was like, fuck it, let's just do it. It's kind of,
it's essentially a fucking like verbatim ripoff.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same structure and everything, but I can just go right into my review right now. This movie,
hot tag, you can go first.
This movie does it terribly. I don't like this movie. It's like taking like the Bible and then taking a shit on the Bible for me. Like,
you wouldn't like me. Call me Mr. McDoodoo.
No, you well, fuck. You can't compare it to Blood Feast, though.
No, I get that. I was just talking shit on the Bible.
Like this movie is just I play a satanic character, motherfucker. Like Bible, but this movie for me, it's very repetitive. Like they do the same gag over and over and over again. and it doesn't work for me as much. Also, there's a ton of bush, and I don't want to fucking see that bullshit. So,
too much bush. Pass.
yeah,
Go ahead, Bugs.
yeah. You know what? Yeah, basically, too much bush.
Get the shears.
He passed it.
You want-
I passed it.
I was too busy laughing at the fucking letter.
Let's close on Bush. What do you think, Bugs?
Well, let me pick the out of my mouth.
Lost, though.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yes, true.
you know,
Greatest
look on the
Curb Your
bright side.
Enthusiasm.
I agree. That's my favorite episode too.
Oh my god, the last season's killing it. Anyway, yeah, I'm with Kruger on this. This one is not up to par. They got the similar structures, a lot of the same plot, but it's just, and then I don't think they add enough comedy because we'll get to the funny one in a little bit. They just didn't do enough to make it worth to be included to this. To me, I don't know. Like, it's not a terrible movie, I don't think, but it's just, if you're gonna compare it to Blood Feast, it stands a snowball chance in hell to be as good or equal to it. So I don't know. It's a miss, but I still think it's worth checking out. There is enough there to entertain you for a while. It is longer than the original. So.
30 minutes longer.
Yeah,
Yeah,
30 minutes. Exactly.
I would say if you like Blood Feast, at least watch this once to say
give it
you
a
did.
shot. Because
Yeah.
I know some people that love this fucking movie.
I enjoyed this movie on its own. I've never even, like, I know that it's heavily a ripoff of Blood Feast, but I've never like watched it back to back with the other ones.
Mm.
So it made it a little less palatable for me.
Mm.
I think then when I've just watched it, like, I'm gonna throw on Mardi Gras Massacre and watch it. I still had a good time, but the pace is so much better with Blood Feast
Yeah.
that watching this one right after, because I did, it kind of just felt like a drug a bit.
But for me, it gets extra credit for John Waters.
Yeah.
Oh, later on, yeah.
Yeah.
I think the thing that bothers me the most is like they do the same ritual 3 different times in the movie, and it's like there's nothing to like break it up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Like with
I
Blood
mean,
Feast, you have different kills. You have him ripping somebody's tongue out, somebody's heart out. He's whipping a bitch. Like, you know, like it's not the same thing over and over and over again.
I'm a little more positive than you guys, although I totally understand how you feel
I was
about it.
positive.
It is repetitive. It is longer. The kills are basically the same. Now it's a good gimmick. I thought that slicing open the bottom of the feet, I think that's very effective. It's gorier and there's more nudity. Like, I'll say that for it. There's a ton of full nudity in this. It's definitely you can see that, 15-year difference in between the making of these movies.
I
and
wouldn't
what's
say
real
it's
life.
gorier though.
Maybe not gorier, but a lot of nudity, and
Hairier.
it's still hairier for sure. It
That's
still
him to
brings
clean that
gore.
blood, that dried fake blood out of it.
That's a shave job. That's how it was. That's how
Blood
women started
dandruff.
shaving. H.G. Lewis is responsible. For it. So I'm never gonna get this out, and just like, let's just take the weed whacker to it. So
Yeah, some of these women needed a weed.
I would say if you're a real like old school grindhouse aficionado, you'll find something to like here. It's not the original. I did really enjoy William Mezzo as the killer, John. I thought he was good. He didn't have that sort of tongue-in-cheek performance that Mal Arnold had, but again, that's not even necessarily intentional. I did enjoy the gore, even though it is, again, repetitive. I mean, stabbing in the palms, cutting open the bottom of the feet, and then just ripping the heart out. It's a good gag. You just gotta give us a little more diversity there. Like, let's cut an ear off, let's cut a nose off, something. It was
One big hole that makes the blood come out the
Yeah.
quickest.
Yeah,
I mean,
good.
right?
It's a good there you go. It's a
Yeah,
good
sorry.
gimmick. It's a good gimmick. they just overdo it a little bit. But overall, it's sleazy, it's nasty, much like the original
Sleazy,
film
yeah.
feels very Floridian, like a regional Floridian horror flick. This kind of has that New Orleans regional horror feel to it, which is where Jack Weiss made his films out of. And he's got quite the story, but he did do a film called Quadroon, which is one that you have to experience once. I guess I could call it a blaxploitation film of sorts, but it's.
I was like, isn't that one of the words you can't say?
I don't know. It is the name
I
of the
think it
film.
is.
We tried
Well-
that with a certain
Can I say it? Because I got no problem. Okay.
It is the name of the film. When we get to our Oscar
Yeah, I
shows,
don't
we're
think
just
you can say that though, dude.
I can't wait till a certain movie
Well,
comes out and he
I
wants
don't
to say
know.
the magical one.
we're just gonna record Pugs saying it and cut to him every
Just
time.
looking at that might be a funny gimmick.
That might be a funny gimmick, but
Just his face every time.
yeah, I mean, going into this, Jack Weiss had never even seen a slasher film, so I'd say he did an okay job. It's if you're diving into this, and it's also video nasty. I think it only got passed in the UK in like 2022. As wild as that sounds,
2022.
Yeah, there's
Wow.
that's
Okay,
very
that's fucking ridiculous.
yeah, really stupid. But it's
still
grimy,
not
it's nasty.
passed
If you're gonna hammer all of these out, I would say add this in there. It's worth a one-time watch if you like these.
I'm
Other
going to tell you
films,
to
I
do
would
this
say.
one last because if you throw it in in order, it's kind of like I think you need a little bit of distance right after Blood.
You know
Feast.
why I would say don't do it that way? You see the progression of exploitation. You get the early, the
yeah. From
beginning.
that, I get that point. But if you want to watch the Blood Feast films, because honestly, you've mentioned like the regionalness of every one. That's going to play into our next one too, because it is definitely feels like LA.
All totally
That
different
does.
eras, which I think is really cool. Like just uniquely, I don't know, that I had fun experiencing it again that way. And I don't think I've ever watched all of these back to back to back like this. So
Yeah.
So all right. Any other thoughts, Kruger, on Mardi Gras Massacre?
All right, well, what are we going to rate it?
God.
No, I'm good. Kruger, what are you going to give it?
I'm a 2 out of 5 for this one.
Pugs?
I'm a 3 out of 5. I do like it.
Dan?
I'm a 3 out of 5 as well. Stop Harry Bush hate.
No. We don't.
We don't like
You're also seeing a progression of women's pelvic area.
You're gonna say a perversion. Same shit.
I'm also a 3 on this one. One for each hole.
From Sasquatch to like bald. All right, so
Well,
that was
we're
Mardi
technically
Gras.
getting in landing strip era, but we don't get it close up.
Yeah.
78. I don't know.
Well,
All
no,
right.
I mean, coming into 89, we're coming into the landing strip.
Oh, 87. Yes.
How are you with the
Yes,
landing
we're-
strip, Kruger? That's cool.
What's up?
How are you with the landing strips? Is that all right?
I mean, that's fine, but
What
What
I
about
just-
like the long Hitler stash?
Twat hawk. That's what I call it.
Okay, that is a good one.
no, I don't want
No.
to see a
That's
mustache.
Dan's
No,
favorite, but he likes them cut down short, so it's like the right size proportionate.
no
See?
landing strip's fun, but motherfucker, I don't want to fucking look down there and have to
Hitler.
fucking sit there with a toothpick fucking later. Like,
Where are you at on
You're
shit? Like the heart? I'm like,
Triangle's cool.
you're a triangle.
H
you're just
for-
gonna
if you fucking have a pentagram there, then you know what? I'm not even gonna say anything.
Well, then I'm gonna wonder what dude cut that in. 'Cause you know that bitch didn't do that shit herself.
you don't want to work your way down and then get flashbacks of Triumph of the Will. Like it just starts like yelling at you.
Speak for yourself.
Like just starts like just fucking like full on like
I don't believe you, Dan. I think you're all in your yapper.
Well,
okay.
Blood
I don't
diner.
What?
Yeah.
All right. So from 1987 and trailblazing feminist exploitation director Jackie Kong comes Blood Diner. And in Blood Diner, grab a table at the Blood Diner, a cut above the rest. The Namtut brothers run the most popular restaurant in town. Popular, that is, if you're the county coroner. The head chef has a real human touch with his special recipes, a killer lineup of delicacies made from human flesh. One of the most insane and over-the-top horror comedies ever made. Blood Diner is presented fully uncut, blah, 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 blah. All right, so Blood Diner. So this one had initially been conceived as a that they were going to do another Blood Feast. And essentially it just didn't happen because the studio didn't think it had the name value that they needed to justify that. And it was Vestron. And so Blood Feast 2 didn't happen. And it became Blood Buffet, which is mentioned several times in the movie, became Blood Diner ultimately. And yeah, so the tone changes dramatically here from Mardi Gras Massacre and even Blood Feast. I mean, this has a sense of humor. It has that spirit that Blood Feast had, while just being
Krang.
its own unique brand of nutty. I love the humor in this. Jackie Kong is most known. She directed the Martin Landau creature feature, The Being, and she also did Night Patrol. Night Patrol is not a great movie, but
a shitty movie.
Well, it was also a hit, so it
Doesn't
actually
mean-
landed her this gig. And
How big of a hit if you're getting Vestron as your payoff?
hey, she got a 3-picture deal. They
From
were able to do. They only made 2
So
before
did
they
Stuart
died.
Gordon. Now, you didn't have to have fucking Spielberg hits to get a Vestron deal.
Well, this has some prestige behind it. Michael Sonyi, aka Dookie Fleiswater, wrote the script. So, you know, it all came together. Dookie had a touring trailer compilation called 2001: A Splice Odyssey, with the trailer for good title, with the trailer for Blood Feast, and the producer loved that film. They came together, producer Jimmy Maslin, and yeah, they were just fanboys. And this film feels like it was made by fanboys, which is so cool. I mean, you just feel that spirit that they love what they're doing. And it's got this, it's ambiguous when it takes place because you've got this doo-wop music, which it has a great soundtrack, but there's some contradictory stuff. But it really just feels right. It's a shame it wasn't Blood Feast 2. I don't know that it would have made a difference if
I
we
think
would have
I'm
been
glad
able.
that I think I'm glad it's
Mhm.
not, because it plays better as an homage to Blood Feast than a sequel.
You could be right,
I
but
mean,
maybe we would have gotten more. We wouldn't have had to wait until 2002.
I don't know if we would have. I mean,
Yeah, I don't know.
I think the way it was handled, I think in looking at it now, I think it overall it probably was the right call, even if at the time it didn't. Because let's be real, even
Yeah.
now, Blood Feast doesn't have the huge name job when we'll get to the
No.
remake.
No, you're not getting the Blumhouse remake of Blood Feast, thank God. I love the nude aerobics massacre where these naked ladies doing aerobics get
80s
slaughtered by Ronald Reagan. The kills, like I said, butt cheeks are carved off. You know, the gore really feels like, yeah, okay, this belongs within the Blood Feast franchise, official or not. I loved Uncle Anwar. I thought he was the most wholesome Shitar worshipping murderer ever. I wanted the sitcom with him raising his 2 nephews. We never got it, but we should have.
Krang,
This
man.
whole thing is just the perfect kind of weird. The cook with the best friend, the dummy Valentino, all this just random shit. And it all hits for me, humor wise. This just all fits, from the naked kung fu girl scene where he has to fight her to we also get, speaking of our crotch discussion, we get a wrestling scene with little Jimmy Hitler taking on Luscious Lou the Lumerian. That shit was just
Speaking
hilarious.
to you.
Hilarious. The music, the punk music, everything about this movie works. It is a perfect cult film, and I highly, highly recommend it. It'll put a smile on your face. So, Hot Tag, Blood Diner, how does it work for you guys?
I mean, I think Dan blew it enough. It's awesome. I actually had never seen it before, and then my local art house theater had played it for Mondo Monday, and watching it like blew my mind. Fucking loved it. It is the perfect homage to Blood Feast, but with like, I think like a better budget, and the fact that they make Ishtar or Shitar into a
Shitar.
actual monster in the end was very
with
cool.
a stomach vagina.
Yeah, and yeah, that and
Gigan, dude, just like
Yeah.
Gigan.
yeah, the practical effects were awesome. Like with her demonic entity at the end, and that like shocked the shit out of me. And yeah, it's awesome. I will definitely be watching this probably yearly from this point on. I got to see it a few months ago, and it's a must see for guys that love gore and practical effects, I think. And if you love Blood Feast, it is like the perfect homage to it.
Imagine if you did a Johnny Wad, you take it into the Johnny Wad universe and have Johnny Wad. That's how he takes out Shitar. His member just like kills the stomach vagina.
I want to interject real quick though, and just say we are missing something on our list.
Uh-oh.
American Guinea Pig Sacrifice. He's sacrificing his body to Ishtar, bro.
Yeah. It feels though.
I just want to throw that out there. That
Make sure it's known. Right on.
Yeah.
No, I think I thought about it.
I totally forgot about that shit until right now.
But I'm like, Mardi Gras Massacre, even though not official in any way.
No, that one makes more sense for sure.
It's like basically a remake. I mean,
yeah,
really.
no,
yeah. But hey, if you want to add another movie to your marathon, by all means.
An honorable mention there. For me, it's like, okay, so Blood Feast is Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Blood Diner is Leatherface / Next Generation. Like, no, okay. Yeah, you can include that too. It's like all the fun. It's way funnier, super gory. And we got a fucking talking brain. Like, we got Krang up in this.
See, some people are going to take the Chainsaw 4 thing as an insult. I didn't. I got what you meant.
It's just wilder.
Yeah, it's wild. It's over the top.
Yeah, they don't hold
the
back.
The stomach is like the Illuminati gimmick thing. You got just weirdness out of nowhere at the end.
Yeah, I fucking like this movie so fucking much. And I always forget how much. This is only like my 4th or 5th time seeing it. That's a shame. I need to revisit this more often. This is good shit.
I was very happy. This was one of the first Vestron titles out of the gate. Was this number 1 or number 2? I can't even remember. But it was one of the first ones.
It was early.
Yeah, it's definitely in the first 3.
The Vestron Blu-rays.
Yes. Well, there's no US DVD. There's no. There's nothing.
Well, there's the set release
for Blood Diner. There's no other release.
That 6-movie set.
Oh my god, I totally forgot they put that on there. You're right, they did. Okay, there's no individual then, because I know there's an overseas German one for this one too. But
so I'm just gonna say, best scene: girl turned into a human donut and decapitated. I love that. And
that was awesome, but I don't know, dude. Ishtar with her stomach vagina, or Shitar. Sorry.
All right.
Yeah, Sheetar. All right, so I don't remember who went first, but I'm a 5. I think it's a perfect cult movie. Hail Sheetar.
I'm a little bit lower. I'm a 4 out of 5.
Pugs.
I am a 4 out of 5.
And obviously, this tickles me in all the right places. I'm a 5 also. Despite being
go.
5.
Sheetar cradling the balls. All right, so moving on to our next
That's why I just
film.
tune him out half the time.
Yeah, what the fuck are you talking about? sir?
Sheetar cradling the balls.
With
was
her
watching a lot
stomach,
of
with her stomach vagina and
Yeah.
her teeth are just.
He
like...
was watching a lot of X videos today.
I would dive Pat first into that stomach vagina. Hail
Nice.
Sheetar. All right.
All right, what we got next?
So moving
Dan?
on to our next film, The Master is back with the H.G. Lewis directed 2002 film Blood Feast 2, All You Can Eat. From H.G. Lewis comes the most eagerly awaited sequel in blood-red history of splatter cinema. The Cannibal Caterer is back with the new recipe for gross out. A comedic carnage that literally blows chunks across the silver screen. To elaborate a little bit, this follows the grandson of Fuad Ramses III, who arrives in town and decides to reopen his grandpa's catering business. Let's just say the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. Very similar to his grandpa. So in this film, well, you know what? Hot tag first, because I'm curious to see how it played for you guys, because I loved it, but I'll elaborate. I want to see where you are, because
Well, this was the first time I'd ever seen it. I literally had just watched it fucking couple hours before we did this podcast. My problem with it is I think it tries too hard to be funny, and it goes too much into that comedic aspect that like
they're aware of the camp now.
Yeah, and I don't know. I like the more unintentional funniness of the original Blood Feast, and with having Herschell Gordon Lewis coming back to direct a sequel, I didn't like that he played so much into the comedy. I will say there's decent gore. There's one scene in particular that I love. That's where somebody gets their face ripped off and their fucking skin face is screaming at the camera. That was awesome. And no doubt watch this movie, but I also think like as a sequel compared to a movie that I just hold to such a high regard, it is so different and different in like more a low budget B movie slapstick way that like I don't know, with Blood Diner it doesn't bother me as much because it feels more
It's
like
an homage.
Yeah, it feels like a homage, and then just with this, it feels like they're trying to get the same comedy that Blood Diner had, but they're trying too hard.
It's definitely weird because it's definitely influenced by both films, the original and the unofficial sequel.
I'm assuming he liked it that much. Like, oh, I wonder if I could do that. And that's
I think he combined it, but it's like the whole Hobgoblins thing. You have Hobgoblins, one unintentionally hilarious, then you have the one they're doing camp on purpose, and it never works. Well, this one I think isn't a Hobgoblins 2 situation.
No,
I still have fun with this one. I did have a little less this time watching. This is the first time I've ever watched all of them. It's sitting in like at once, like even not at one sitting, but over a couple days. Versus like I've just watched Blood Feast 2, I've just watched Blood Diner, I've just watched any of them, and I don't know. I feel like that one hurt this one for me, especially coming right off of Blood Diner. That does everything it's supposed to do perfectly. And this one feels like it's an imitation to that one. And I don't know, it worked a little less for me. I still like it and I enjoy it. I will watch it again, but I don't think I'll ever watch them all at once again. Like if I want to watch Blood Diner 2, it's 2. But yeah, I think I get what Kruger's saying.
Yeah, it feels like it tries too hard.
Yeah. I do get the try hard vibes, and I fucked up earlier. This is the one with John Waters, so
Yes.
I'm a hard R. But yeah, this one I have fun with, but I have all the same complaints or same gripes. It's not really a complaint because I'll still watch this again. Just it doesn't hold up to the rest of the movies.
And I remember loving this when it came out. Like it was
Also-
at the time, it was a breath of fresh air.
But
mean,
also,
it's
hour
like
40.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fuck outta here.
That runtime was a little much to ask, but also this just popping up randomly on like, DVD shelves in 2000. What is it? 2002?
6?
Yeah.
Oh,
2002.
2002.
Yeah.
Yeah. I could see like popping this in at that time and having that nostalgic to it, and you loving the first movie. I can see why people do.
And it's been over 13 years, over like 15 years since Blood Diner 2. So it was something, it gave us something, and like I said, I think watching it on its own at the time was better viewing experience than like marathoning.
I think well, you are right. I mean, now you make the Hobgoblins 2 comparison, and there's other examples where once you're aware of the camp, it just doesn't work. It's not a happy accident. And I get what you're saying. Having said that, most of the humor did work for me in this. I thought the lead actor, who very hard to say his name, but JP Delahousse, who played Fuad Ramses III in this. He only had one other credit. And the guy, I think, is perfect for the role.
I liked him in this. He was good.
Yeah, he channeled that Mal Arnold feel very well. The soundtrack is awesome. I think this movie had the perfect soundtrack. In fact, I think I might have had it on CD at some point, if I'm not mistaken. But the gore, I think, is fantastic. Again, we kind of get the progression. We're talking like Bear Bush at this point by far by 2022. It's a gore wise and the nudity that's there. It doesn't get into like full on sexploitation territory, but we get some fantastic kills. The ice cream scooper out the eyeballs. We get callbacks to the tongue scene. That certainly more variety here versus Mardi Gras Massacre. Kruger mentioned the face peel, which was awesome. We get those slow like throat slashings until it turns into a decapitation. Brutal, fun, practical. I think gorehounds will be more than pleased. Is it too long? Yes. I'm a little bit surprised, especially being Herschell Gordon Lewis, that he didn't realize the length really makes a difference. I can't say I was bored. I still laughed. I mean, the cops eating the finger sandwiches with obvious fingers sticking out of them and not knowing. It hits that humor that
The Last
I
House
look
Cops.
for. Yeah. It has actually, in my opinion, a Hall of Fame nude scene. The actress, the shower scene. I thought, wow, holy shit. And yeah, I also I laughed too much to not give this one a high rating. When Fuad is trying to sneak through the window and he sees the husband already trying to Benoit the wife, like that was funny to me. I think the actors sold it really well. We get John Waters as a perverted priest. I really loved it. And if you look, David F. Friedman, who we haven't really brought up yet, H.G. Lewis's partner in crime, we get a little cameo from him as well. You know what? I still love this one. I might even like this a little bit more than I did when I watched it last time. So I get what you're saying, though. And yeah, I understand. But I still think this is a really good watch. Now, I could be wrong on this. This is, well, I'm not wrong. It is DVD only as of now. This should hopefully get a new release.
DVD releases.
Yeah, this I believe did have an R-rated cut.
There's a black cover that's R-rated.
Yes, make sure you get the unrated, because
and there's two unrated.
Uh-huh.
One has a bonus DVD and one does not. So either one is going to have the feature uncut.
Yes. So if you want to pick it up, because I haven't heard any rumblings about a Blu-ray. I mean, I do certainly hope we'll get one. But if you want to pick it up, make sure you're getting the uncut version, and which will also carrying into our next film, which we'll talk about that. But
it desperately needs a new Blu-ray. The old one's hard letterboxed 4x3. It looks like when you zoom it needs a remastering. And honestly, looking at the transfer, I feel like it was finished on a digital and not on on an analog source, because it should look better on a digital. But that's just me guessing.
Yeah.
We want a new Blu-ray.
Yeah. So, all right. Well, we can go ahead and rate it.
Simply put,
give us a new Blu-ray.
Like I said, it went down a little. I still enjoy the film. Well, like I said, it's not Hobgoblins 2, but they are aware, because you can be aware and still make it entertaining, and be aware and just do it poorly. Like Hobgoblins.
They do it better than Hobgoblins 2. Yeah.
And I want that clear.
A lot better.
I just said I went down a little on it.
So I think my rating will probably be the highest. I am 4 stars. I loved it. It's not perfect. It's got the length issue, but I think more or less they hit a home run in terms of making a modern film with the same feel as Blood Feast. So 4 stars for me. What say you guys?
I'll go. We'll go reverse. I'm a 3 on this one.
I'm a 2.5 out of 5.
So average. Okay.
I'm a 3 out of 5. I do like it. So
yeah, buy a Blu-ray. Hurry it up. Speaking of recently released on Blu-ray and 4K.
Fucking K, dude. I was so psyched when I saw that. I was like, good for fucking this guy, because I love fucking the Blood Feast remake. I'm just gonna tip my hat right here on the fucking brim.
All right. So from 2016 and German underground director Marcel Walz, we have the Blood Feast remake. And in this one, Fuad Ramses and his family have moved from the United States to France, where they run an American diner. Since business is not going too well, Fuad also works night shifts in a museum of ancient Egyptian culture. During these long, lonely nights, he is repeatedly drawn to a statue representing the seductive ancient goddess Ishtar. He becomes more and more allured by the goddess as she speaks to him in visions, and eventually he succumbs to her deadly charms. After this pivotal night, Fuad begins a new life in which murder and cannibalism become his daily bread. All right, so
I just gotta say, ungrateful daughter, bitch, shut the fuck up about the meat. Try to do
we got bills to pay, you dumb boy.
You look like you're 30 years old going to college too.
That the daughter is played by the beautiful Sophie Monk. But yeah,
played by Sophie Monk.
Fucking, I would like to go first. I fucking
go
adore
for
this movie. I think it is one of the best remakes of all time. Just it gives me all the spirit of Blood Feast with the gore. The gore in this movie is fantastic.
Just a quick pause, Kruger, so they're aware. This was also released in R version. Do not watch the R version. That's how I originally saw it, and it is butchered the fuck.
My friend Todd over there fucking hooked it up and fucking made sure I saw the right version when I saw the original Blood Feast. He's like, guess what? You're gonna love this remake too. And fucking I sure as fuck did. I'm really happy this got a 4K release, because I think this movie is super underrated. Granted, the acting at times is maybe a little bit cheesy, but if you like the original Blood Feast, that's going to fit right into what you're going to enjoy. And the gore is fantastic. You have severed penises. You have fucking tongues being ripped out in amazing ways. Sacrifices, all done while this guy has this amazing fucking, what's the entity called, Pugs? Do you know?
I don't.
Fuck. The Egyptian wolf.
It's like Anubis, right?
Oh,
Anubis. There you go.
Anubis? Okay.
The Anubis mask with the maggots all over it, which is a nice fucking touch. I love this fucking movie. And also it kind of mixes Blood Feast with Blood Diner too.
Yeah.
And I just think it's a perfect remake. And shout out to them having Herschell Gordon Lewis make a little cameo in the fucking movie too. I thought that was awesome, and I love this movie.
Professor Lou Herschel.
Yeah, I love this movie. And I think anybody that's a fan of the original should check it out, because I think you're gonna love it too. And I'm surprised Unearthed wasn't the ones that put it out. So get that 4K though.
I didn't realize, I knew Sophie Monk was in this, but I didn't realize this is the last thing she did, like officially. Because there's still that unreleased movie she made, Spring Break '83, that'll never come out. But yeah, this is the last thing she did.
Well, I've never been one of the. Oh, why did she not stop making movies, Todd?
I don't know why. That's
Yeah, I don't know if you have any like
what did Robert Russler do?
strange.
I would have heard that rumor.
Well, I've never been
Robert Russler. Don't want him canceled.
I've never been an anti-remake person, because I think, like, if the remake's awesome, like we have here, awesome.
Mm-hmm.
If the remake sucks, well, you just made the movie I like even better. So for this one, it's just a good companion piece. I like this one a shitload. This came around the time where I started liking the look of like just this dark, dry, just gritty, more earnest. I would say, yeah.
No,
it's more earnest.
This one's good.
Yeah, because it's kind of like how they shot The Godfather in certain lightings. For me, high praise. The movie's fucking awesome. Yeah, but they took it more earnest, and I appreciate that, because I do like my fun. I do like my comedy. But every now and again, I like to get down and serious. And for this one, I think they found a good balance, because the lead actor, he looked like he's about to lose his shit at all times, kind of like Jack Nicholson in The Shining. But it's like it's just behind the eyes. And Caroline Williams is fucking fantastic. I liked everybody, and like it's super fucking. It's nasty. This one's a nasty one, and I really have fun with it. But this. I got nothing but praise for this movie. That's it. It's fucking awesome.
Okay, well, so this is the one that for me doesn't really fit with the others, because this is not, I mean, there's a little bit of humor, but this is not the tone at all, I think, of any of the other films. I guess if it was closer to anything, it'd be Mardi Gras Massacre, because that one's a little more gritty, I suppose. But this kind of goes for a straight ahead gore film. If you can just accept it as its own thing, it is a good time. But I do kind of miss the tone of the original Blood Feast that this doesn't capture at all. Now, the director, Marcel Walz, he's kind of up and down in terms of the quality of his films. He did the La Petite Mort films, Seed 2, and a lot of different things. I think he's making movies in the U.S. now, actually, but very well known in the German underground scene, and I think he might even have a brand new movie out, but I guess he just decided to go a totally different direction. Maybe it was the best direction to go after Blood Feast 2. It had been a while.
Times too,
I think it would have been weird. Like the fact that the reboot is this style, I think that's what the franchise needed at that point, was something a little bit more gritty, because they've done it the other way for how many pictures, and none of them really hit. So
it may have been the best marketing move. I agree.
It may have been the core. Yeah. It did what a good remake should do. Took the core story and did something different, and that's what I really did like about this one. And I mean, the casting's great. I love Robert Russler, Caroline Williams.
More hostile than Blood Feast, though.
Yes, I think I like
it.
It's
cool.
It's a little bit more nasty. Yeah, I don't know. This, for me, it felt like the right remake at this time, because I've seen it done the other ways a couple times. So I think I was ready by this time to see. I want to see a serious take on the property, and that's what we got. And I think if there was one element off, if the casting wasn't right, it might not have hit. But I think the casting, the gore, everything, I think for me, it is one of the remakes I do cite. Like this is, I like this one. This one,
Yeah.
yeah.
I mean, it's pretty sadistic. I mean, a dick gets just cut off and put into a jar, and he watches him bleed out. Like that's like fucking like gangster.
Yeah,
Metal
the
as
thing
fuck.
about this one for most people, this is going to be their first experience with Blood Feast.
Yeah.
They've seen it. For a generation, this was going to be the introduction. So I think it's going to work better than the campy tone.
Well, yeah, and one, I think it's going to be cool for people to be like, all right, let me go watch the original and see that it still has a similar spirit when it comes to the gore factor, but it is way more cheesy.
Because you can't make a sequel for the people who like the first one in 2016. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
No producer's going to let that happen.
Yeah, he may have looked at the second one and thought like, okay, if we try and do this again, it will feel forced. It delivers for what it is. It's a mean, nasty, just mean-spirited gore film, and the kill scenes are brutal. When he bites out the girl's tongue, it still has callbacks to the original film. It works for what it is. Just know going in, you're not going to get the yucks in this one.
I can't imagine you didn't laugh when that girl asked if she wanted him to see cum on her face. Like,
yeah, that was funny.
Okay, I'm like, that has to get you, Dan. There's no fucking way it's not.
Are we not going to talk about who did the special effects?
Oh, who did them?
Oh, well, okay. Kruger, get your box of tissues ready.
Speaking of cum.
Ryan Nicholson.
Oh, shit, really?
Yep, he was
shout out, rest in peace.
Yeah, I think
fucking legend.
And
Mark
Megan
Ronstock also worked.
No wonder that cock looks so good.
He knows a cock.
It's his own mold.
Dude, Ryan Nicholson made the most realistic fucking cock I've ever seen on screen in fucking Gutter Balls. That thing is fucking way too real.
Fuad Ramses, it is a flawless.
Dan, do you have a replica of it somewhere?
I do not have.
He pulls it out of his ass right now.
I would fucking buy that shit in a heartbeat.
Sticks it on the table with the suction cup.
That shit would be over here with Psycho Gorman, dude.
He's got a hard one. It's his hat rack.
Dan's just gonna buy you and tell you, no, it's from the movie. He'll just sign around Nicholson's name.
Can you? Well, Ryan can't sign it, unfortunately, but yeah, you get. That would be a really funny thing. I wonder if anybody has gotten. Actually, no, I take that back. If you're not in horror, but I know at the ABNs there were girls signing dildos and pocket pussies.
How many pocket pussies do you have signed, Dan?
I'm almost positive that the dude that got his cock cut off in Terrifier, they have the prop and he signed it and somebody bought it. I'm almost positive.
That's badass.
Wouldn't it be funny? Wouldn't it be funny as shit? Like, I would say John Carpenter would be the funniest one because he's so grumpy. He's just
Happy Christmas penis right here.
He's just ignoring everybody. He's just like, have a good day. How are you? And then like you just walk up and you just throw like a fucking double dog on the table in front of him. Just like,
you gotta throw the suction cup with on so it sticks on the table.
Yeah, you just like toss it, just boom,
like the high school
right on his Prince of Darkness.
The basketball players.
See, the only person that would make sense to do is fucking Adam Green. You could just throw the odorous fucking dildo that Guar sells and just right on there. Hey, remember from Holliston?
Oh, Jesus.
You just
Did
whip
we
out
rate
your
this
own.
one? We
Yeah,
had
You
to-
no,
just
we
whip
did-
out your own dick. What are you, a homophobe?
Oh, really? What the fuck? Just I don't even know what to say to that. Back to Blood Feast, fucking the 2016 remake. What do we rate it? I'm a 4 out of 5.
Oh, Pugs.
I am a 5 out of 5. I love this one.
Dan?
I am a 3.5, but I just want to say after I dropped the dildo on John Carpenter's and he said that's not from any movie I made, it's like it belonged to Adrian Barbeau.
Wow.
Remake. I am also
right.
remake. Oh, did you give your number, Dan?
Yep.
Okay,
3.5.
remake. I'm
3.5.
also 4.5. 4.5.
4.5. All right.
Yeah.
Oop, okay.
All right.
I'm 3.
Well, do we want to give our rankings real quick?
Yep.
Who wants to
All
go
right.
first?
I'll go first.
All right, go for it.
So I'm the original Blood Feast, and then I am the remake, then Blood Diner, then I would say
Two.
Blood Feast 2, and then Mardi Gras Massacre.
All right.
Right on. For me, number 1 would be Blood Diner. I'm sorry. Number 1 is Blood Feast 2016. Number 2 is
Okay.
Blood Diner. Number 3 is Blood Feast 63. And then 4 and 5, they're interchangeable. But for today, I will go Mardi Gras and then Blood Feast 2.
All right, Dan.
Write this down.
Okay. All right. Number 1, got to go with the original 1963 Blood Feast. My number 2 is very, very close, but I got to go with Blood Diner number 2. Blood Feast 2 All You Can Eat number 3. Blood Feast remake number 4, and Mardi Gras Massacre number 5.
All right, we're gonna have a sweep on the last place. Wait, no, did we? I don't remember what Pugs gave the last one.
I gave the last. No, I gave Blood Feast 2 the last
Okay,
place.
that's what. Yeah, say I thought you might have did one different. Okay, even though I ranked the second one higher, the first one is my number 1. It's such a historical piece, and I the rating doesn't factor into this one. My second pick would be Blood Diner, with the very close second of the remake, and another very close fourth with the second one, and then at the end you got Mardi Gras Massacre. So like it's 1, and then the other 3 are really tight for me. Like I can flip those depending on my mood.
That's
Twos
where
tend to-
I am with
Yeah,
2 and Mardi Gras.
But especially like because I flipped them around a few times, like Diner and Remake.
Yeah, I can see my love for Diner growing. I had just seen the Blood Feast remake more than
It really
Blood Diner.
depends what I'm in the mood for too. Like if
Yeah.
I want something a funny one, Diner's first one. If I want something more serious, a little darker, the remake. If I want a classic, I got the OG. If I want the ripoff, I got that. So I mean, that's one thing. It's like you can, if as long as you've seen one, you're not lost. Like on any of the sequels or reboots. Like as long as you've seen Blood Feast, you can watch any of the other ones and you're fine.
Yeah.
Now you can watch any of the others and you're fine either way. I don't think you need to see Blood Feast either, but
You can dive in anywhere you want.
yeah, it's a really simple premise. It's worth watching. It's fun. I just say space them out. Watch one one a month or something.
I'm cool if they want to make another one. Like we're ready for another remake. It's almost 10 years, right?
Dude, I'm down for a fucking show. Let's go.
I think Blood Feast 2016,
yeah,
they were
TV show?
hoping for more theatrical play, if I recall, and they didn't really get it.
Did it make the? I don't remember.
Yeah,
that in
it
the
was
theaters
only
at
released.
all.
Here's what was weird about it: the R-rated Blu-ray came out. It was a Best Buy exclusive,
Yeah.
and then it came out theatrically unrated.
And I think a lot didn't want us. Yeah.
I
That
don't
And
remember
hurt.
this
then-
at all. Was this like the same time with that fucking shark movie with Mandy Moore? Where it was on the shelves and they took it down.
20,
Fuck was that? 47.
might have
was it-
47
A
meters.
little bit
Just
Yeah,
after.
no, that's not what happened with that one. It was called Into the Deep, and it
Yeah.
was a direct-to-video movie. It came
Yeah.
out, and they pulled it the day of release to make it theatrical. Like some copies of Into the
Yeah.
Deep DVD got out.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Ed,
Same movie.
Evil Ed
Yeah.
got one, and okay.
Yeah.
So is that similar situation?
No,
No.
Like the
it was-
R-rated was released first, and then it
they
didn't
just
do
did,
well?
and then they decided to do. It was like a
I
Fathom
don't remember
event.
any of this.
It was
Oh,
like
okay.
a Fathom event. It was like unrated, but I don't think it was Fathom. I think it was a little more. It had like
Yeah,
a few day screen. It wasn't like a one day one showing.
I
It was
know
like-
it.
it was
How
like
the
a
fuck did this
Terrifier
get
look.
by me? I would have loved to have seen this on a big screen.
Yeah.
Because at that
It-
point it had already came out. I believe the unrated was already on digital or out overseas. So
It hurts it because so many people were like, "Well, I'm not watching that again," because it was really butchered. The R-rated cuts, very
But
I've
see,
good.
never
even on
seen
the
the
butchered,
R-rated cut.
even on the butchered cut, I still like the story. I could tell it was cut of gore, but I think it was still
True,
even-
but
it
I'd
was
be
a-
like, "I'm good. I don't need to go see that on the big screen."
but that could also work for it though too. Like I could tell that was really cut, and I want to go see what was cut.
Hmm.
See, and I think if
That's
there,
not the average person's thought, though, Todd. Yeah.
well, they weren't marketing that. This was never marketed towards the average person, which is weird because the style that they did it seems like they were going for that Saw era stuff,
Yeah.
but they never released it in that fashion. So I don't think they had the money behind it to push it like they could, a major one.
You
Maybe
say
the
Saw, but I like Dan's Hostel more.
Well, I'm just saying that, but yeah,
I got
that
it.
they're all the same era. They're all that.
And
Pornography.
honestly, it's very late in that. It's really after the Hostel.
That's why I
peak
went with Saw
anyway,
because Saw was
so
still going.
it might have gotten a theatrical back then, but yeah.
Yeah, it was honestly probably just the studios behind it. I mean, if anyone knows,
Oh,
drop a comment.
are we ever gonna do Hostel?
I think we should. I'm
Nope.
that's an easy
Only
one.
got 3. All right. Well, you'll see that down the line, I think, because we've never done that.
I'm excited to watch him. First, well, I'll save all my thoughts.
I don't know if I've ever
My
done
favorite
a separate
actress
show.
is in one of them, so I mean that alone.
There you go.
All right, sweet.
Is Tiffany Shepard in one of these?
Nope.
Edwig Fenwick.
Thank you.
Oh,
The art teacher in the beginning of the second one.
gotcha.
Oh my god, the hottest. Like, she does not fucking age. Holy shit. All right, but on that note, guys, we hope you've enjoyed this. Be sure to check out all the other shows.
Hold on.
Patreon-
Kruger's got more.
Oh, sorry.
I think you want to go over kills, right?
Yeah, we got kills.
Oh,
man.
yeah,
Yeah.
sorry. Favorite kills. My
Kills
bad.
and future of the franchise, motherfucker.
We're doing the format a little different, so yes. Okay, favorite kills. I didn't even do a graphic. So what do we got on favorite kills?
Well, obviously the tongue kill in the original film, that's mine. I just think it super hard as fuck, like to see something like that in the movie from 1963, and it's very well done.
Yeah, I mean it's the most realistic thing I think in any of the films. I think that's why it works so well even today.
I forgot which one it's in. Which is the one where they rip the membrane from the brain? Is it Blood Feast 2?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, that scene's fucking awesome. That'd be my pick if I had to.
I like the screaming face. That's probably my favorite.
From
Yeah.
Bloodface too.
Yeah,
Too. I'm gonna go more with a funny kill since you guys took the gnarly ones and say the human donut decapitation
I figured that was going to be
From
your
Blood
favorite when
Diner.
you said it.
from Blood Diner. Yeah, when he just shoves her face in and she comes out as a human donut and she's decapitated with the broom. That
Yeah.
I'll go with that. So
Yeah, we kind of briefly talked about future of the franchise. I don't know what you do now. I mean,
Kruger
I'd
had
like to
nailed
see
it with the fucking TV show.
Yeah, I'd like a Blood Diner style TV show where
Oh, you'd want it more Blood Diner. That's the way.
Yeah.
yeah, where
have you
it's like
watched the O show? It's not a show, but
The what?
H.G. Lewis's The O show is the one he did after this.
Mm-mm.
Oh well, you'll want to get on that.
It's not in the box set. That's like the one that's missing.
Oh,
No.
gotcha.
No,
So-
well, yeah.
Yeah, I still I've only seen Wizard of Gore once, and I haven't seen the original 2000 Maniacs.
Well, I'm
There's-
almost done with
Ooh.
Black Emmanuel. We could dig into that box, Kruger.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I fucking love 2000 and 2001 Maniacs. Make sure I'm available.
We can do separate shows, Wizard of Gore, and then 2000, 2001.
Yeah, we can. Yeah, honestly, with the ones that have remakes, that's not a bad way to go. We've covered both of them here, so we could do one that just has the 2000 Maniacs, one that just has.
I will legitimately gush over one of those.
Yeah.
There
then-
you go, guys. That's 3 shows, also with Hostels. So be sure to stay tuned. To be announced down the line.
Not to be,
On
to be.
that note, patreon.com/fleshwoundfeatures. Check out all our exclusive, early, original, uncensored content. A lot of After Dark content on there right now. And it all starts at just $1. Join the free Discord. You'll have a great time there, and the links are always in the descriptions for that. And follow us on all the social media out there. Coming soon, check me out. I don't have a name yet, so unfortunately, but I will be. I will be on the Visited by Voices 1 channel covering some Grindhouse movies, Grindhouse and drive-in style movies. So catch me there, and yeah, I'm all over the place. So check me out. And on that note, anything else to pimp, gentlemen?
Just our good whore.
There you go. There you go. All right, guys. We love you. Come again.
Good evening.
Whatever you do, don't fall asleep.
I'll see you in Disneyland.